Alrighty, here we go. All right, everyone can see the screen?
I can see it. So I'll just be here in standby mode if you
all
need.
Set?
Yep, all set.
Perfect, awesome. All right, well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us in this webinar. Here today, we're going to be talking about meal planning and meal prepping. So, is it going? There it is. Okay, so a little bit about myself. My name is Ivelisse Chaug. You can call me Evie, it's much simpler. I recently graduated from ASU with 2 degrees, one in nutrition dietetics and the other in interdisciplinary arts and performance. As Lori said, I'm a diet tech, so I'm a DTR, which I focus a lot on nutrition education. So I'm also an ACE certified personal trainer, so I also work with physical fitness as well. I also work as Bites, where I focus on gardening, sports nutrition for recreation, and I also do mindful meditation and yoga. So here's the bread and butter, meal planning. What is it and how do we do it? So meal planning, just like the name suggests, it's planning what you're going to eat. It's planning your meal in advance. So who's planned their meals before, right? I want you to reflect on, your meal planning experience, whether you've done it before or you haven't done it, or you've done it successfully or unsuccessfully. I want you to reflect on your experience, right? So whether we have or may not have tried meal planning, I want to emphasize the benefits of meal planning. So when planning your meals, you can reduce your risk of heart disease. So over 600,000 Americans die each year of heart disease. That's one in every 4 deaths. So pretty big number, pretty large. So when you plan your meals, you can, do something like reduce your sodium, reduce saturated fats, because as we found, fast food and restaurants tend to have high levels of sodium and high levels of sugar, as well as saturated fats, which can clog your arteries and, cut off circulation and cause heart attacks, strokes, and other heart diseases. So meal planning can also prevent, or if you have type 2 diabetes, can manage symptoms. So out of all diagnosed cases of diabetes, 90 to 95% of diabetic cases are type 2 diabetes, which are preventable. So, being overweight, having a family history of diabetes, being physically inactive, or being 45 and older are risk factors to having or getting type 2 diabetes. So meal planning can help with that because it can help control blood glucose levels. So usually when we eat out, or usually when we go to restaurants, again, the high sugary foods will spike up our blood glucose levels, and it will add adipose tissue around our cells. So when our insulin comes down to try to lower down the blood glucose, our cells are not going to respond to the insulin. So that leaves it high for hyperglycemic levels, and that can lead to type 2 diabetes, where our cells are not very sensitive to insulin. All right, meal planning can also be the cheaper option. So who's done this before? Who has went to the store, bought so many ingredients for all the ideas that we have for our meals that we just planned right off the gate? And maybe a week or 2 later, you had to throw more than half of it away, right? So meal planning can identify the ingredients that you need and how much you need. So when you go to the store, you can make a list and you cannot buy as much ingredients as you did before, therefore saving money. Now, when it comes to eating out versus home cooked meals are the cheaper option, because when you're eating out, not only are you paying for the food itself, you're paying for the labor costs, the people who make your food, you're also paying for the sales tax, you're also paying for the utensils, like the plastic utensils, the paper plates that food is being eaten on, and that adds up. So when you're meal planning, right, you can take out those labor costs because you're going to be doing it yourself, right? Sales tax, that's just going to be when you buy the food. And so that cuts down your costs significantly. Now, in the long term, right, say you do get heart disease, or say that you do get type 2 diabetes, medication isn't cheap. Surgeries aren't cheap. Visiting the hospital isn't cheap. Same thing with the ambulance. So planning your meals ahead of time can reduce your risk of getting heart disease, getting type 2 diabetes, and even visiting the hospital or even paying for medication. So now when it comes to meal planning, here are some key things that we need to keep in mind, right? When we're making balanced meals, we want to make sure half of our plate is filled with non-starchy veggies and fruits. So you want to think of broccoli, green beans, spinach, tomatoes. So they're very low calorie. There are carbohydrates, which we use for fuel. So we want to make sure we're properly fueling ourselves to make sure that we have energy to go take on the world, right? You don't really want to fuel your car with diesel. Why should we fuel our bodies with unhealthy processed foods? So we got half of our plate with vegetables. Now, the other quarter of the plate can be our whole grains or starchy vegetables. So those will also provide energy, as they're also carbohydrates. They also provide B vitamins. So whole grains do have a good variety of B vitamins. Think about B1, your niacin, your riboflavin, and your thiamine. So those vitamins can help support our organ function. Now, the other quarter would be dedicated to our proteins. And here we want to focus on lean proteins. So you want to think of lean beef, chicken, turkey, and if you're a vegetarian or vegan, you got tofu, tempeh, and beans. And you can also choose fish as well, too. You got your tuna, you got your salmon, nice fatty omega-3 rich fish. Now, this isn't plated or this isn't shown on the picture, but you also want to incorporate some fats. So fats can be in the form of your cooking oil, maybe a homemade dressing that you made. It could be seeds like sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds. It could be avocado. It can be a good variety of cheeses, hard cheeses, as well as nuts too. So you can sprinkle them on, making sure that you're feeling satiated too. Fats can also help with hormone synthesis too. So if you're having issues with your hormones, you want to make sure you include those healthy fats. Now, this isn't listed here on the slide, but I want you to think about spices. So spices do have a variety of benefits, right? One that comes to mind, probably you've seen it all over Instagram, turmeric. Turmeric has great anti-inflammatory effects for the body. So you want to incorporate some spices to add some flavor, some fun, and creativity when you're planning your meals. Maybe you're doing a Cajun dish, or maybe you're thinking about lemon pepper chicken, right? And so adding spices can also help reduce sodium, so you won't be at risk of hypertension or high blood pressure. Now, we've gone over the meal planning of it, so writing down your plan. Now here comes the action, meal prepping. Why do we even do in the first place? Well, as we mentioned earlier, it helps reduce food waste, it helps you save money, and your balanced meal will be guaranteed. So there's different ways of prepping your meals. One way is just pre-chopping your vegetables, making your own spice mixes, or even marinating your meats. You can do that ahead of time, and when you do have time to cook, you can just take it out of the fridge, plop it on the skillet, and it'll be done in less than 30 minutes. That's one way of doing it. You can also do freezer meals. So you can package all your meals in its contents. So say you put chicken with lemon pepper seasoning and some oil, or you can even add some carrots and onion to it. You can bag it up, you can put in the freezer, and when it's time to cook, right, you can take it out of the freezer, let it defrost, or you can even put it in the crock pot, and then it'll be ready as you're tending your children, doing homework or extra work on the side as it cooks. Now, the last way, which is the most common way I've seen people do meal prep, is just making the food in its individual portions. So if you see here on the right side, right, you have 4 different meals, each with its own variety and each with its own balance. So you can do it that way. You can just make your ingredients ahead of time, pre-portion it, and when you have to leave for work or leave to go to a meeting, you can just grab and go, heat it up in a microwave, or if you have a chance, you can do it in the toaster oven. So those are a few different ways you can meal prep and see what's right for you. Now, when it comes to meal prepping, right, maybe we've had an unsuccessful experience with meal prepping, right? Here are some few tips to keep in mind to make you more successful. So I want you to turn your attention to frozen foods. So during, the picking process, the farmers would pick the fruits and vegetables at the peak of ripeness, when there's the most nutrient content in the fruits and vegetables, and they will flash freeze it. That's all they do, flash freeze. So no added chemicals. And so this provides a cheaper alternative. So say that, you don't have enough time to cut your carrots, broccoli, and cauliflower. There's pre-chopped frozen meat foods that can, that you can just plop in the steamer. You can, microwave it, and it can be done within like less than 10 minutes, even less than 5 minutes too, depending on how you prepare it. So try frozen meals, or not frozen meals, but frozen foods. Now, you can also do bulk purchasing. So, Costco, Sam's Club, they all have very big items for low prices. So we want to focus on shelf-stable items such as dried beans, dried lentils, maybe dried rice or dried pasta, that we can have, we can search out for those sales and buy more of those foods, save them, and then when it's time to cook, we can just pull them out, put them in the rice cooker, put them in our pots, and then let them cook right there. And it gives you more bang for your buck. Now, we also want to make sure we have a container that's high quality, microwavable safe, and dishwasher safe. So we want to make sure that we're investing in the right type of equipment. So, if you get a cheap plastic container, if you put in the microwave, it may melt into your food, right? You probably have experienced this one way or another, or seen it happen with our friends, right? We got that really cheap plastic container, we put in the microwave, and then it just deforms into your food. It's not a pleasant experience, so we want to make sure we invest in high quality products that are reusable, that helps with our planet, and also helps with our meal prepping and planning. Now, we also want to utilize a different variety of cookware. So you see here, we have crock pots, we have Instapots, pressure cookers, cutters, and food processors. So this can help save time when it comes to chopping. It can save time when it comes to, slow cooking if you want to do, say, like a beef stew, right? And the crock pot takes too much time. You can also use an Instapot to make the process go quicker. Now, say that you can only dedicate 1 hour to your meal prepping session, right? We have meal prepping services popping up across the nation, one of them being Tailored Bites. Now, Tailored Bites, as Lori mentioned before, that Rachel is a registered dietitian, so she makes sure that, all these meals are balanced, they're healthy, and they're also delicious too. So here's an example on the picture on the left. Here's an example of how I actually use Tailored Bites to make sure I'm getting the nutrition I need, and just to make sure I'm not starving, right? So here I actually bought the egg bite breakfast combo, which is egg bites with bell pepper and spinach in them, with a side of fruits and chipotle salsa, which if you haven't tried the salsa, like try it. It's great. It's not spicy, but it's very flavorful. It has a lot of flavor packed into it. And then next to that meal, I have my lunch that I actually did prepare for. And I did buy a little snack just because since I work in the fitness field, I do need a little bit more energy. So I made sure to add a little bit more calories for my activity level. All right. So with that being said, we also do Thanksgiving dinners. So say that, the hassle of Thanksgiving, right? You have those dirty dishes, a lot of dirty dishes, right? And, it takes a lot of time to cook that turkey. the way you want it. Tailored Bites has a Thanksgiving dinner menu. So if you're interested, please let me know and I can spill the details. All right. Do we have any questions?
Hey, I ordered my Thanksgiving pre-cooked meal today.
Yes, awesome.
Very
Nice.
excited about that. I'm going to have like 8 people here, and so won't it be nice to not have to be in the kitchen the whole time and stressing about, and then knowing that it's healthy, right? Because you guys actually cook it and you make sure it's healthy, and I love that because, you know, we don't want to have over, you know, too much fats and all that stuff on Thanksgiving.
Yes, absolutely. We definitely do take out those fats. Yep.
So the winner of the Tailored Bites giveaway, which is, I believe, 2 meals and 2 snacks, and we will email you. Sharon T, you're the winner. Congratulations. I'll email you the code to use for that. You can order from them. They deliver depending on where you are, or you can go pick it up. So I live too far, so I have to go pick mine up. But I love it. I've ordered their stuff. I actually had them make stuff for me, freeze it. I brought my backpack cooler. I put it all in the backpack cooler, checked it, and took it to California when I went over there, and I ate it. It was so delicious. For a week, it fed my husband and I. It was fantastic. And it was so healthy. So someone's saying it was great. Thank you. What other questions can we answer for you guys? I don't see any on Facebook. Where do we find out about the Thanksgiving meals? Okay, so tailoredbites.com. If you go on there and then you click on, because I had trouble finding it. So tailoredbites.com. Where's my Rachel text? She told me today. Go to tailoredbites.com and then click on shop and then balanced meals. And then right there, you'll see Thanksgiving dinners.
Yes.
Great.
So for Thanksgiving, for those who are interested, we're offering golden brown oven roasted turkey breast with creamy mashed potatoes and gravy, agave roasted sweet potato medallions topped with crushed pecans, homestyle stuffing, as well as steamed green beans topped with caramelized onions, moist pumpkin bar topped with cream cheese icing and cranberries. So we also get a little treat on the side too.
That sounds so delicious. I was just making.
No, right? Does it make your mouth water?
Yeah. Some of my other favorites are the sweet potato brownies.
Oh, those are good. Those are a fan favorite. Yeah.
And the protein balls. What you
the nutrient bombs.
The nutrient bombs.
Oh, so no, they literally are the bomb.
And then there's something with chocolate. What is the chocolate thing that's so good and healthy?
So we do have a variety of desserts, such as, cheese seed pudding. We do overnight oats as well, too. And we do rotate our menu weekly. So every Monday, definitely check back at the site and we switch it up. We make sure that we have that variety.
I think, too, it kind of gives you an idea and it sort of motivates you. So what we did is we ordered from Tailored Bites. And then after that, we kept our containers because it comes in these really great containers. And then we meal prepped moving, forward, like we did that. So when I get my Thanksgiving, I'll probably do the same thing, like save the containers. They're really nice containers. I mean, you don't get good containers anymore. Here's another question.
They're BPA free too, so.
Yeah, BPA free, I like that. Talk about using fresh versus frozen in cooking.
So fresh versus frozen. So there's actually more nutrients in the frozen because when they're picked at the peak of ripeness, right, they have the most nutrient content. So sometimes with fresh fruits, depending on how far the farm is, sometimes they have to pick it before ripeness. So it depends on the season and also depends on whether you're buying locally or just at a regular grocery food store or versus a farmer's market. So it does vary, but the cooking method will be slightly different. So you may have to defrost your frozen food, whether in the microwave or just kind of put it under hot water to defrost it that way, or you can just add it in the skillet with something that's already hot and cooked, and it can defrost that way.
So if you're buying frozen, do we need to read the label and make sure that it's flash frozen and not like added chemicals and all that? Is that important?
That's a really good question. That's something. All right. Let me do a little bit more research and let me get back to you about that.
I'm just curious. I never buy frozen anything because I figure it's better to buy fresh, but kind of what you're saying, makes sense. I mean, if it's on a truck for who knows how long, or,
That's a good question. No, that's a really good question.
Right.
And
so, yeah, do we need to read and make sure there's no added preservatives?
yes,
Because obviously if we're
just,
buying fresh, there's no added preservatives. Who knows what it's sprayed with? No, by organic,
that's true.
which, I try to do that because I've had cancer twice. So I have to be careful.
So I would say just read the ingredient levels just in general. So
Okay.
even if you're buying fresh or frozen or even just dry packages, just get used to looking at that nutrition label because it does have that revealing
Right.
ingredients too, especially read the ingredients,
So
right?
here's a great one. Do you notice frozen veggies being less crispy or more mushy than fresh?
Yeah. So when you freeze them, right, and when you have to defrost them, they do get a little bit mushy because of the water content. Osmosis happens. That does happen. Yep.
Yeah, great questions, you guys. What else? Who's going to go out and shop and start meal? Probably wait till after Thanksgiving. Order your Thanksgiving meal from Tailored Bites. Get the containers, and then you can although maybe the containers don't come, but definitely order some items. If we do family style, it's probably more like in
the tin,
right. It's
yeah,
the individual. So I did like regular size. Okay, wait, when you order an individual meal, you have two sizes, right? And
yes, we do.
tell me about the sizes because I want to comment on that.
Okay, so we do have a small size and a regular. I can actually bring that really quick. Wait just one moment.
Yeah, and I'll tell everybody why you're getting that I ordered the small because I was trying to fit them in my cooler, but it was plenty of food. Like their food is so nutrient rich that everybody my husband and I were both full when we ate it. We did not need the regular. We did the small. And we were full for each meal that we did. We weren't hungry when we were done. It's really nutrient packed. Their proteins are really dense and lean and all those good things. So any question? Here's another question.
Oh, great. So we have our meals right here. So we have our small right here and our large here. So typically in our meals, right, the regulars, we usually have 3 ounces of protein. We have about a half to a whole cup of starchy vegetables, as well as a half to a whole cup of complex carbohydrates like your grains. So that's how we typically order it. And so that's with the regulars. So with the smalls, it's going to be half that. So it'll be 1.5 ounces of protein, half to maybe a quarter cup of non-starchy vegetables, and the same thing with our grains too, depending on the meal itself. And if you want to add more protein, we do have options for adding more protein. So say that 3 ounces isn't enough for you. We have 4.5. We also have 6 ounces too. And you can even add, more vegetables, more starchy vegetables, more grains. So we do give you a lot of options for customization. So say that we have the turkey dinner and you're vegetarian. We have vegetarian options like tofu and tempeh, as well as beans.
That's exciting. So someone asked about organic versus regular. So I know I personally try to buy organic when I can, just because I try to avoid chemicals at all possible. Do you want to make a comment, Evie, on that?
I agree with that as well too, because usually when it comes to farming, they do have heavy amounts of pesticides too, and organic usually is certified to not have those pesticides added onto it too. So yeah, I do agree with your sentiment, and but if your wallet is in the line, right? It's okay to go for the conventional.
Get the vegetables, yeah.
Yeah, just get the vegetables in general. And if you don't have enough money for organic, that's okay.
Yeah.
The other vegetables will work as well too.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Vegetables are vegetables.
Yes, regardless. So just make sure you wash them. So make sure you wash it if you don't buy organic. Just make sure you wash your vegetables.
Yeah.
Because there can be
brush.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You can get the browners and just make sure you just wash it. Yeah.
All right. Well, Sharon will email you the code. Congratulations, Evie. Excellent. You're a great presenter. Did you know that?
Thank you. No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Really good.
Thank you.
All right. So feel free to respond to my email if you guys have any questions. Get your Thanksgiving meal. If you guys need to reach out to me, you know how to get a hold of me, valleysleepcenter.com. That Ask the Sleep Coach box is directly to me. Or you're also going to follow up email after this. So thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.